kind of sinking in more and more that tomorrow is happening and the trailer is coming out. To all the people who are up in my DMs trying to guess what character I'm playing, I'm not gonna tell you. I'm not gonna answer your DMs. This is the one time in my life where if you have something to say, I don't want to hear it. You can't check in. You're not an adult.
Rachel Zegler just can't seem to steer clear of controversy, even as she attempts to rebuild her career with the indie film She Gets It From Me. What was meant to be a low-key, heartfelt comeback after the high-profile Snow White meltdown is already stirring trouble behind the scenes.
Everyone's just ignoring my phone calls. Whatever, it's chill. I don't even care.
I never want it to come off as me being ungrateful for the opportunities.
What an idiot I've been as a young person in this industry who has no filter and no idea what she's doing.
And the signs point to Zegler herself as the lightning rod for the unrest. To put it simply, Rachel Zegler was handed a golden opportunity to reposition herself in Hollywood after a disastrous major studio debut. And instead of capitalizing on it, the chance appears to be slipping through her fingers.
Take some of this upon yourself. You don't have to grovel. You don't have to beg, but you screwed up. You were given a golden goose opportunity, and that golden goose is belly up. So what do?
Multiple insiders familiar with the production have revealed that filming isn't progressing as smoothly as hoped, and some of the tension reportedly centers around Zegler's behavior. Behind the carefully crafted press, releases framing the film as a comedy drama with heart, those working on set are quietly murmuring about mounting frustrations and delays that are threatening the project's trajectory.
It sounds like you're one of the only ones there, just like Rachel Zegler, as it turns out, and we part with this video of Rachel Zegler alone in a theater watching herself. One of the most unlikable humans
That
ever.
is sadder than when the original Snow White eats the apple.
This story is all too familiar for those who've been watching Zegler's career unfold. Time and again, she signs onto projects that attract significant attention. Yet the headlines spawned aren't for her performances, but rather for controversies that sours the production atmosphere. Gossip is swirling about scheduling conflicts, slowdowns during filming, and frequent behind-the-scenes clashes.
I never want it to come off as me being ungrateful for the opportunities.
While official sources remain tight-lipped, crew members have reportedly already started whispering that the vibe on set is tense and that cracks are starting to form. If these reports are accurate, it places Zegler right back in the eye of a brewing storm. It's become a pattern. Zegler attaches herself to a high-profile project, the public and press buzz grows, then suddenly things start to unravel. The setbacks for She Gets It From Me sound eerily like the prelude to the Snow White disaster.
That she believes that she should be able to express herself and speak her truth or whatever nonsense, regardless of the consequences to everybody else.
Reports hint at contentious reworks of key scenes, last-minute script changes, and conflicts directly linked to Zegler's involvement, complicating the production logistics. This is hardly the type of humility and professionalism one might expect from an actress eager to prove herself after a high-profile flop. To be candid, after the cringe-worthy Snow White press tour, where Zegler came across as smug and tone-deaf in interviews, she should be operating with at least a measure of self-awareness. Instead, it seems she is once again making waves by pushing boundaries without apparent regard for the consequences.
Listen.
And to everyone who hates when I win, the winged victory came to the Louvre in pieces, and people still line up to see her.
The indie film that was supposed to serve as a reset and a chance for her to earn back goodwill appears to be slipping before it has even had a chance to shine. This backlash is deeply tied to the fallout from the Snow White rollout. Rather than endearing herself to audiences, Zegler alienated many by openly mocking the original film and distancing herself from its legacy. Disney fans, often deeply protective of their cherished fairy tales, felt betrayed by what they saw as disrespect.
I shouldn't be cursing, but I'm gonna do it anyways because I have no self-control. Sorry, Mr. Mouse.
On top of that, Zegler drew harsh criticism for politically charged comments like her infamous "Trump supporters will never know peace" remark, which alienated a significant portion of the public. What was meant to be bold came off as reckless, further deepening divides among potential fans. Now shifting towards smaller independent projects, Zegler faces a different kind of scrutiny. Indie productions don't have the massive PR machines or budgets to smooth over problems like Disney or Marvel franchises do.
I'm gonna be on a talk show tonight, and I'm gonna talk shit about them on the talk show. Talking shit on the talk show.
If she proves difficult on set or causes disruptions, the consequences are immediate and tangible for the entire team. The public has shown it won't hesitate to call her out, as seen in the growing online movement urging fans to boycott anything with her name attached. The impact on She Gets It From Me is reportedly very real. Industry chatter speaks of persistent scheduling headaches and tension behind the scenes, increasingly linked to Zegler. This behavior mirrors what happened during Snow White.
It's the most emotional experience that a person can go through to know that what they're working on is something that has reached a generation of people.
Which only crumbled because of more than just a poor script and uninspired visuals. It tanked because the lead actress repeatedly mismanaged press opportunities and seemed unable to navigate criticism gracefully. Every attempt to promote that film felt like a potential PR disaster, and now those same habits appear to be creeping into Zegler's current work. This was meant to be Zegler's fresh start, a smaller, more nuanced role, alongside respected talent like Marisa Tomei. But the film is already clouded by rumors of tension, not only between Zegler and the crew, but also reportedly with her co-star.
Yeah, because there's nothing more effective than 19-year-olds educating the rest of the voting public while yelling, "Okay, boomer."
Tomei has cultivated a reputation as a consummate professional who works well with others, creating a stark contrast with the conflicts seemingly surrounding Zegler. As She Gets It From Me moves closer to release, insiders whisper of ongoing delays, ever-changing scenes, and disagreements over the film's tone. The public official narrative remains that everything's on track. But this now familiar pattern, Zegler signs aboard and turmoil ensues, is difficult to dismiss.
Rachel, did Steven Spielberg not pay you for your role in West Side Story? Did Disney fail to give you a healthy paycheck for, Cry Me a River? She's just exactly everything that we can't stand.
Even her supporters struggle to defend her, citing her youth and inexperience, but the question remains, how many more chances will Hollywood give before labeling her a liability? Her past comments about fairy tales and tradition still linger. Her dismissive remarks during the Snow White press tour alienated many and made her seem condescending toward the very fans she needed to win over. Her attempt at being modern and empowered came off as smug and ungrateful rather than revolutionary. Most alarming of all is Zegler's apparent refusal to adapt or reflect on past mistakes. There's confidence.
Rachel, can you tell us a little bit about your version of Snow White?
Yeah, Snow White is the girl you remember, but she's definitely made for the modern age, and there's such an emphasis on what it really means to be the fairest of them all.
And then there's delusion. And right now, she seems dangerously close to crossing that line with her eyes closed. After the Snow White disaster, most stars would have kept a low profile, taken time to regroup, and maybe even issued a sincere apology. Instead, Zegler has jumped headfirst into new projects, posting with the same smug energy that turned audiences against her before. The Snow White failure was a warning shot for Hollywood, an expensive, high-profile lesson about the risks of starring a controversial figure in a beloved franchise.
Who has been the most exciting person for you tonight?
Oh my God.
Besides,
Took the words out of my mouth. Besides.
Disney shelled out nearly $270 million on the film, and it reportedly remains $96 million in the red. Behind the scenes, there were myriad issues, but Zegler's behavior certainly played a large role in the film's downfall. Her alienating interviews and dismissive demeanor cost the film valuable goodwill. Zegler's jabs at traditional values didn't feel bold. They felt dismissive. Audiences responded predictably by staying away from theaters, delivering studios the ultimate punishment: empty seats. The situation is made worse by Zegler's seeming disconnect from the industry that once championed her. Hollywood loves a comeback story but is notorious for running out of patience when drama overshadows talent. There's a growing sense that studios are watching her every move with caution, and not the good kind. It's not just the fans who are wary, it's the crew, the producers, and the press too. Media coverage of She Gets It From Me is marked by phrases like tentative support, unproven post-Snow White, and risk-adjacent casting. In translation, no one wants to fully endorse this comeback, knowing how quickly things could unravel if Zegler slips again. The timing couldn't be worse. The public is still dissecting what went wrong with Snow White, and Zegler diving immediately into another high-profile role without acknowledging the damage left behind feels like salt in the wound. She famously described her version of Snow White as a modern take on a beloved character. Yet many who loved the original felt blindsided by what felt like disrespect for the story's legacy. Meanwhile, people who invested in Snow White financially and emotionally lost money, jobs, and credibility, while Zegler walked away largely unscathed and quickly booked her next gig with little accountability. If Zegler seriously wants to turn things around, it will have to start with humility, a quality that, based on current reports, remains in short supply. Because eventually, even the most patient producers run out of excuses. The cruel irony here is that Zegler still seems to see herself as the star of a redemption story, a comeback arc Hollywood just needs to wait out. But what she doesn't yet understand is that this isn't about one setback or a string of failures. It's about trust. How long can an industry continue betting on someone who repeatedly burns their own reputation down? No amount of indie cred, Oscar-adjacent co-stars, or carefully crafted statements will mask a personality that keeps attracting fire. Studios no longer have the luxury of loyalty without accountability. Not when audiences are vocal, backlash spreads fast, and pre-sales can tank before a film even premieres. That's why her latest project, which should have been a fresh slate, already feels like nonstop damage control. The delays, the hesitations, the rewritten schedules, they're not just unfortunate side effects, but symptoms of a bigger, deeper problem. Nobody knows if Rachel Zegler can stay on track. Behind the polished media campaigns and hopeful casting announcements lies an uncomfortable industry reality. Money talks, and controversy drains it dry. Zegler has become a lightning rod, not because she's revolutionizing the system, but because she speaks first, reflects later, and burns every bridge in between. So now the question looms. Will Hollywood finally learn from this pattern, or gamble one more time and brace for the fallout? What do you think? Does Rachel Zegler deserve another chance after all this, or is this her final strike? Let us know your thoughts in the comments. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and stay tuned. The next video on your screen will surprise you.